Raise your hand if you love the IRS. I'm guessing nobody's raising their hand. Well, if you're one of those people, this next story is going to make your blood boil. In 2011, the Internal Revenue Service delivered more than $5 billion in refunds to identity thieves. And according to the Treasury Department, the situation is getting worse. Some say that the IRS is the victim of identity thieves, just like the taxpayers. But the reality is the agency is ignoring signs of fraud and inviting scammers to steal more tax dollars. For more, let's bring in David Selig, a federal tax practitioner at Selig Associates and founder of TrueTaxHelp.com. Welcome back to the show. It's great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us what's going on here, because it seems to me that the IRS would not want to deliver tax refunds to people who aren't owed them.
Right, that's a fact. But you have a lot of people who don't file returns, even though, at least on paper, they don't appear to owe taxes. And that creates an opportunity for individuals to file these fraudulent returns. Now, my firm was involved in a fairly high-profile case where this woman, a single mother working full-time and such, filed her return, and it was rejected because it had already been filed. What made this so interesting is she filed a petition in tax court, realized she was in over her head, brought us in, and at a pretrial conference, the government, attorney for the government, actually tried to withhold the fraudulent return from us, and this is amazing, because they said we were not in privity with this person who filled it out, if you can believe it. Well, we overcame that, and when we got the return, there was so many inconsistencies other than her name, her child's name, Social Security.
You knew she hadn't filed it.
Absolutely. But our investigation, we found out, because we had to do a lot of work, she was just one of over 20,000 people whose identities were stolen in the same heist right here in New York from their health insurance company.
Oh, my Lord. That's astonishing.
And Jerry, these returns are typically filed out of state. The people get these refund anticipation loans, cash it in, and you know,
that's the scam. That's exactly the scam in a nutshell. You know, we've also learned, though, that, you know, as you said, one company doing this, sometimes it's one address that is putting through hundreds and hundreds of tax documents hoping to get that refund, and the IRS never catches on. How is that possible? Why aren't they looking at that? Aren't they looking through these, you know, documents, trying to make sure that there's not a lot of scam artists trying to get money?
I have to believe so, but, you know, every time they take an action, these characters, they're very slippery. They sort of get around it. And but I will say this to the service's credit. They are mining a lot of information out of these people who they are subsequently prosecuting.
Well, you know, we've also heard this week about doctors who cheat on their taxes and still get paid by Medicaid. How common is that?
Well, wait a minute. You know, we've defended an awful lot of doctors, and it's very easy to make that allegation. And frequently when there is an issue, and I know there's abuses, just like sometimes they'll say the government paid $400 for a hammer. But there are cases where a doctor will be audited, and they'll find an inconsistency and throw out the entire Schedule C. Maybe he will even be referred to criminal investigations, and they will affect a settlement.
So you're saying that the IRS is wrong in some cases?
In some cases, yes, absolutely.
Well, that's absolutely true and always true, right?
No, but it is not always.
The IRS is often wrong. They make mistakes, and that's the point you just made. I'm only repeating what you said to me. I'm trying to advance the conversation a little bit here, and what I'm saying is that some doctors don't pay their taxes, and we find it confounding that they still get Medicaid payments. What I understand is that's the law, and that's the way it works, and you'd have to change the law to make a difference. Is that right?
Right, absolutely, Jerry. The only problem is whenever you change the rules and the tax code, it creates some unintended consequences that then get exploited. And that's why I think people register a frustration with the IRC.
Well, you've got a big job representing all these people every single day against the IRS, because they are scary when they come after you. Absolutely true. Thanks so much for coming on the show tonight. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, if you're fired up about this or any